Welcome students to another lecture in the series. Here next we are about to study the second part, variance analysis. Let us begin. Basically variance means some kind of difference, and here as per the previous lectures we have studied that under standard costing we basically establish a standard cost and then we compare that standard cost with the actual one. Okay, so that only if there is a difference between the standard and the actual cost, it only arises a variance. So the difference between the standard and the actual is called as variance, and cost variance is the difference between a standard cost and a comparable actual cost which is incurred during the period, and this definition is quoted by CIMA London. So variance analysis is the process of analyzing variances by subdividing the total variance in such a way that management can assign responsibility for any off standard performance if the performance is not up to the mark. So according to CIMA London, variance analysis is the process of computing the amount of variance and isolating the causes of variance between actual and standard. An important aspect of variance analysis is the need to separate controllable from uncontrollable variances. A detailed analysis of controllable variances will further help the top management to identify the persons who are responsible for its occurrences for the corrective actions that can be taken. The ones which are beyond control obviously affects the performance. Then we have favorable and unfavorable variances. When actual cost is less than the standard cost, it is called a favorable or a credit variance. And on the other hand, when the actual cost is more than the standard cost, then it is called as unfavorable or adverse or debit variance. Both are possible. Difference can be on a positive note or can be on a negative note. In other words, you can say that any variance that has a favorable effect on profit is a favorable variance, whereas any variance which has an adverse or unfavorable effect on profit is unfavorable variance. Many students experience difficulty in sometimes ascertaining a variance which is favorable or adverse. So for that purpose, we will be using a plus sign for the favorable variances and negative sign for the adverse variances. Favorable variance can also be designated with F and adverse with A. Now let us see controllable and uncontrollable variances. If a variance that can be regarded as the responsibility of a particular person, with the result that his degree of efficiency can be reflected in its size, then it is said to be controllable variance. Because we can correct by taking some remedial measures, like excess usage of material is usually the responsibility of the foreman who is concerned. However, if the excessive usage is due to the material being defective, then the responsibility may rest with the inspection department of non-detection of the defects, that they were not able to find out the defects in the product. So if a variance arises due to certain factors beyond the control of management, it is known as uncontrollable variance, like change in the market prices of materials, general increase in labor rates, increase in the rate of power or insurance premium, etc., are not within the control of the management of the company. Responsibility for uncontrollable variances cannot be assigned to any person or department. The division of variances into controllable and uncontrollable is very important here at this moment. The management should place more emphasis on controllable variances, as it is these variances which require investigation and possibly corrective action, and the uncontrollable variances on the other hand needs to be ignored, because in that case we will be follow the well-known principle of exception, whereby those matters which are going right are ignored and any deviations from efficient performances are investigated. Then we have methods variance. While setting standards, specific methods of production are kept in view. If for some reason or the other a different method of production is adopted, it will give rise to difference in the amount of cost. Thereby, it would result in a variance. So, such variance is known as method variance. Thus, a methods variance arises due to the usage of different methods other than which are being specified. According to CIMA London, here methods variance is the difference between the standard cost of a product or operation produced or performed by normal method and the standard cost of a product or operation produced or performed by an alternative method which is actually employed. Then we have revision variance here. After setting standards, sometimes standard cost has to be revised on account of unavoidable changes in prices of various factors like wages, materials, etc. So the standard costs once set are not distributed every now and then to account for these uncontrollable factors. Rather, a revision variance is created and a basic cost is allowed to stand. So this revision variance is basically arising due to the difference between the standard cost originally set and the revised standard cost. If we see the total cost, we can have this division here. Let us try and understand. First, you can see it is divided into three parts: material cost variance, labor cost variance, and overhead variances. Further, material cost and labor is divided into two further parts. You can see for material, we have material price variance and material usage variance. Material usage variance can further be divided into material mix, means what variety of material is being used, and then material yield. Whereas labor cost variance is subdivided into two parts, that is labor rate and labor efficiency. Labor efficiency can further be subdivided into three parts, that is labor mix, that what variety and what level of labors are being utilized. Then idle time labor variance and labor yield variance. Under overhead variances, we have two parts, that is variable overhead cost variance and fixed overhead cost variance. Variable overhead cost variance is further subdivided into two parts, that is expenditure or budget variance and efficiency variance, whereas fixed overhead cost variance is subdivided, and we do have the options expenditure or budget variance and the volume variance, and volume variance is further subdivided as efficiency, capacity, and calendar variance. Let us see further. We were talking about revision variance on the previous slide, so simply I have expressed this in a formula here. Original standard cost of actual output minus the revision standard cost of actual output. So this is only an interim adjustment which helps or allows the standard costing system to operate usefully even when there are changes in the standard cost. Let us move towards material variances. First of all, let us see material cost variance. This is the difference between the standard cost of direct materials, which is specified for output achieved, and the actual cost of direct materials used. It can be calculated as this, like this: material cost variance is equals to the standard cost of the actual output minus the actual cost. Or we can express it like this: standard quantity, because how to calculate this standard cost: standard quantity for actual output into the standard price minus the actual quantity into the actual price. So it can be expressed like this. Here is a numerical, a very small numerical. Standard price quantity is given as 4 square feet, standard price as ₹5, actual production 1000. Sun mica used 4300 square feet, and actual purchase price of sun mica is ₹5 50 paisa. Material cost variance can be calculated. Simply we have put up the values here: standard quantity, standard prices, and here your actual quantity and actual prices, and finally we are able to obtain an adverse variance of 3650. Now let us see the further parts. Material price variance, this is that portion of the material cost variance which is due to the difference between the standard price which is specified and the actual price paid. So a standard price minus the actual price gives you the difference in the price into the actual quantity. This is the difference between the due to the difference between the standard price and the actual price. There are certain reasons behind it. It may be due to changes in the market price of material. It may be due to the failure to purchase the specified quality, thereby resulting in different price being paid. It may be due to change in quantity of materials purchased, thereby leading to lower or higher quantity discount. Not availing cash discounts when standards set took into account such discounts. Basically, inefficient purchasing, change in the delivery costs. Rush purchases means if you are buying it in a hurry, so you are not worrying about much about the prices. Purchase of a substitute material on account of non-availability of the material which is being specified as per the standard. Change in the rates of excise duty, purchase tax, off-season purchasing for certain seasonal products like jute, cotton, etc. Okay. Rest next type we will be discussing in the next video lecture. Till then, you take care and study well.